All right, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. So I wanted to speak on the junior middleweight division a bit. All right, now all you longtime subscribers know that that's like always been my favorite division. Still one of my favorite divisions, including the heavyweight division, of course. The light heavyweight division is one of my favorites as well. But this division here, I feel that now that we don't have any more cash cows in the division, we got some solid names like Charlo still down there, but we don't have no super cash cows anymore. Mayweather retired; he had a title at 154 at one point. You also had Canelo that was down there for a while, the majority of his career. Miguel Cotto was down there for a good portion of his career as well. And now that those guys are kind of out of the game or out of that division, now everybody kind of has to fight each other, right? Now, some guys did move up. Jaime Manguia moved up recently, and he vacated his WBO title that he had down there, which is cool because I felt like he wasn't really fighting any one of the PBC guys at 154. So I'm kind of glad he moved up, and he's a big guy at 154 anyway. But if he wasn't going to fight any of the PBC guys, I didn't really care for him having a title at 154, even though he's young. And so he moves up, fights Spike O'Sullivan, and he has a good fight there. So he's at 160. So when you look at the division, recently we had Hurd against Santana, which was his first comeback fight since his first loss to JRock. Then JRock just recently lost to he lost to Jason Rosario. All right, which is his first loss since this is his first title defense, and he was unified, and he lost. He lost recently, so it's kind of crazy because if more divisions were like this divisions, most guys wouldn't be undefeated. Just like the heavyweight division. If Wilder and Fury took more dangerous fights, I believe that no one really would be undefeated. We know Joshua already lost. I don't think anyone is good enough to a point where they would just beat everyone. You know, I think all of these guys would lose to everyone in the heavyweight division and other divisions as well. All right, but here you don't have any cash cows, so most of these guys are fighting the other best guys in the division, and this is why they're picking up losses. Because everyone has a style that they just don't fight well against. And this is why we having all of these recent losses. We go back uh, into 2018 now. We saw Charlo, who was champion at the time, and Hurd, who was a unified champion at the time. They were set to meet. They were set to meet next, and they both lost fights. Charlo lost to Tony Harrison, and he's avenged the loss, but he lost to Tony Harrison in a fight where most people didn't expect him to lose. And Jarrett Hurd lost to JRock in a fight that most people didn't expect him to lose. Okay? Um, but Charlo avenged his loss in his most recent fight. Cool. But then JRock loses a fight in his first title defense to a guy that people just didn't expect him to lose. And you know what's funny? I didn't do a breakdown of the fight. And I was rooting for JRock, obviously. I mean, that's my guy. Big long-term fan of his. I don't do too much Twitter. I don't use tweets too much. I might I could go months without tweeting at times. Some reason, the night before that fight, I haven't tweeted in so long. Yet I tweeted JRock and I wished him good luck. Because I just had a bad feeling about that fight. And I don't do breakdowns and predictions just based on bad feelings. I'll do a thorough analysis, as you guys would know. But I had a very, very bad feeling about that fight. And it actually happened. He gets stopped in the fifth round. All right, he gets clipped with a shot that hurt him so bad. And JRock, just in the same way that he lost to Jamal Charlo, just didn't want to take a knee. Like sometimes you just have to take a knee. And being that, with more experience, you'd think he would have done that, and he didn't. And he ended up losing the fight. In that fight, listen, it happens. You fight a guy that's fighting you correctly. I felt like him going into this fight and seeing what he was doing. He was fighting in an aggressive manner, similar to the way that he fought Jarrett Hurd, because most of us wasn't really expecting that. Jarrett Hurd, the thing about him, he does have a slow start. He starts off pretty slow, right? But then when he gets going, he's unstoppable. But I wasn't expecting JRock to bring the fight to him like the way he did. I think he caught Hurd off guard, and Hurd just never got a good rhythm going because he was never really in control. And in this fight, I feel like, JRock, he's fighting in Philly, fighting this whole time. Shout out to Philly, but they've been having it rough lately. I mean, with this fight, the fight with Jesse Hart, oh, horrible performance. They've had it rough in boxing and outside of boxing. Anybody see the Arsenal Cassidy battle? If you watch Battle Round, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Philly has had it rough lately. And, J Rock loses this fight because I think, sometimes you fight a guy that hungry and is bringing the fight to you. And sometimes you just got to box, man, soften him up. Let the fight draw out a little bit. J Rock, again, kind of brought the fight to him. I'm not saying he should run or anything like that, but fight a little bit more defensive. I think he wants to show out in front of his home crowd, and I think he paid for it. I thought he fought the wrong fight. I seen him talking about having an immediate rematch. I want to see if they're gonna have an immediate rematch. If he has one, that's cool. But at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's pretty chinny. You know, There's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. I'm a fan of his, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He is kind of chinny. He is kind of chinny. You know, it is what it is. All right. But I hope he bounces back. He will. He is a good fighter, and sometimes I don't really think he wasn't motivated or anything like that. I just think that he took a L. It is what it is. Not a lot of these fighters are going to be undefeated for so long. He's very skillful. I think he bounces back. But sometimes it is what it is. You got to take L's. All right. Hurd has taken his L's. Charlo has taken his L. It is what it is. All right. Jarrett Hurd fought this past weekend on the same card as Danny Garcia. And, he's with a new trainer now. Came in this fight very low key. I believe, it wasn't really a good performance. Uh, I've covered Jarrett Hurd a lot on this channel. And I can tell you, I've been watching Hurd since he fought Frank Galarza. I can tell you that Hurd tried to fight the majority of this fight on his back foot. I don't know what they were actually working on in this fight. And I've seen Hurd fight on his back foot before. Like he fought Frank Galarza. He fought another fighter too. Not one of his tougher opponents, but one more, I think his first fight back after that injury that he had. This is before he fought JRock. He fought a fight where he was fighting more on his back foot too. He can do it, and he could fight a defensive fight. But for some reason in this particular fight, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. It looked like he's been so used to coming forward and applying a lot of pressure. It looked like he fell off a little bit when it comes to fighting a defensive fight. Because his defense has been lacking since he's been fighting on a higher level, that he didn't look sharp in this fight. He just didn't. Let's be honest. I don't know what the game plan is. I know he wasn't fighting his best opponent. All right, this is not one of the elite fighters he's been facing. I mean, he's been fighting consistently good fighters: Lara, Trout, Tony Harrison, JRock. He's been fighting good fighters back to back to back, which is cool, which is great. So I'm gonna assume that being that he's as a new trainer, he has a game plan, and maybe he's trying to work on a few things. I wasn't expecting him to beat Charlo before the loss. And based on that performance, I'm still not expecting him to beat Charlo after that performance. I think maybe he needs a couple more fights before getting another title fight, because the thing is, Charlo Charlo punches. He punches harder than JRock. You know, he might not be as crafty, but he has a power to hurt Hurd. And if I think if they're gonna fight next, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I'm not telling Hurd not to go for it if the opportunity is there. But Charlo is not someone I'm expecting him to outwork. I think that worked out for an older Lara, an older Trout, Harrison that's always been kind of chinny. I don't think it's gonna really work against Charlo. I don't think his style matches well. And I said this before. Hurd lost, even when he was unified and undefeated. I just don't think he could beat Charlo. I think Charlo right now at 154 is the man. All right. Um, but he didn't look great. I wasn't impressed with his performance against Santana. Um, I'm sure they were working on things, but I think at some point, maybe past the ninth round, I think he should have started going for the knockout. He almost got it in the last round. He did drop him late, but it just wasn't an impressive performance to me. All right. Um, what else is going on? Patrick Cesaro, who is now the WBO champ, he beat and defeated undefeated Carlos Adames. Which was a big shocker when that fight went down. Took a lot of punishment in that fight, even with that win. Uh, he is set to fight Brian Castano. All right. We've seen him fight before in the past in the World Boxing Series. He fought Derenchenko back then. If you ever never seen that fight, that was a pretty good fight. He fought Lara recently into a draw. The fight between Cesaro and Castano should be good. Castano's legit. That should be a good fight. That's going to be a title fight. So that just recently got announced. So that should be a good scrap. Jaime Magia is moved up to 160, so we won't be seeing him at 154. But yeah, that's what's available right now. Lara's still hanging around. I don't know what's up with him. He fought Canelo's brother, who was not that good. He fought him last year sometime. Got an easy knockout. I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what the deal with him. I don't know if I wouldn't expect him to fight Charlo. I know in the last couple of years, Lara said he was willing to fight Charlo. I just doubt that fight happens. I don't know where he's at as far as ranks, but he's still around and he's still an elite fighter at 154. Yes, he's older. He did lose to Hurd, but the Hurd loss was very debatable. I thought Hurd won by a point. Uh, but yeah, Lara's still around too. So that's my thoughts at 154. Love the division. Not as good as what it was because Andre moved up, moved up, Canelo moved up. So it's not as many people there now, but still some good guys there. You got Lubin, Harrison Lubin, who for Nate Gallimore had a good performance there. Excellent performance. So I know he's working his way up and he's not too far from a title shot again. Uh, he has a little bit more experience now. I want to see him fight someone else that's really credible outside of Nate Gallimore. I want to see one more fight before he gets another title shot or get in a rematch with Jamel. But right now, I think Jamel Charlo is the man at 154. All right. So anyway, that's my video on 154. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm back. Peace.